So I decided to get this one. I have this and Jukebox both, but this one for some reason has like a front page, but my cover of Jukebox starts from the first page, right?
So I did that intentionally.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to drop you right into the story without doing the title page and then reserve the title page for
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I love it. Yeah. But this was the first book that I ever read of yours. And immediately, like, it was so nostalgic for me. I'm from Kolkata.
Yeah.
So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like just seeing like how the difference, like, even with, yeah, perfect page to show, but like the colors showing like India and like the transportation, just amazing. I was wondering about how like what your writing journey was like how you got into like writing books, specifically graphic novels as well. Like what was your journey like?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been an avid reader, and I had always wanted to be an author.
Yeah.
So the first book that I read that kind of gave me that idea was Champalieri's Interpretive Maladies.
Oh,
And so I read that, and I had been this huge reader. I never thought of myself as I could do this too.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I saw, oh, this Indian woman also did this.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I could do this, but I always thought I would write prose novels.
Mhm.
Then I read American Born Chinese. And when I read Jean's book, who I can now call friend, I started to really realize the depth that can happen on the pages of graphic novel. And I was like a budding artist, but I wasn't really good at it. But I decided to go to art school. And in art school, I got introduced to Jean's work. And then I started kind of playing with this idea. And I was nobody believes me now because they look at my artwork and they're like, you were always good. No, I was not. I was awful. But I really thought that, one, American Born Chinese was so layered and so beautiful.
So
that I wanted to create something like that for our community.
I love that. I think you did a very good job of that because like I didn't read this at first. My sister bought it and read it and she was like, you need to drop everything and read this. Like it's And even with Jukebox, I think the thing about both has like the similar quality that like there's like an item or like a thing that like connects like to like countries to generations and like uses that to like just like connect the person, the main character in the story, and it's just so relatable. And just even for me it was like because I'm also an aspiring author, and so for me it was like there are Indian authors doing it, there's space for us.
There is space for us.
There's space for us. And so it's just I'm so glad that I got to talk to you.
What kind of work do you want to do? Do you want to do graphic novels?
I am also very terrible at art, but my sister is an artist, the one who recommended this.
So maybe you're thinking of collaborating?
Yes. So she also loves writing and reading, and so she wants to make graphic novels on her own. But I'm like, one day when I want, you'll be the one drawing it for me.
Great.
So but other than that, I want to write like young adult books that are also like connecting the gap between Indian
Indian identity and also kind of playing with it. Right?
Definitely. For Pashmina, but also for the other books, what was your main inspiration that like gave you these ideas, or was it was more story based, the story came first, or was it more the character came first?
I think it's actually the overall theme comes first. More than anything. With Pashmina, it was really just this idea that I wanted to talk about what it's like to be Indian American, what it's like to be in between two of those things. And also, there's also this big theme about choice. Right, and how choice plays out in your life, and how that is an incredibly powerful thing that a lot of people don't exercise, especially women, right? So I think that comes first, and then kind of some of the elements, at least for Pashmina, and I would say that each story is a little different because Jukebox, what came first was this idea of how jukeboxes play single albums, and what would a jukebox look like if it played a full-length album? It would be ginormous, and as soon as I thought of it, ginormous jukebox, it automatically felt magical to me.
Okay.
And then I just kind of followed those thoughts and those questions. And then with Super Boba Cafe, it actually came from thinking about what would be underneath San Francisco. Because San Francisco is so hilly.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but, you know, sometimes I don't know if you're like this, where you have like little conversations in your brain.
Yep.
I'm like, you know, it's actually fortunate that I became an author because now I'm paid to have little pretend conversations. But so the response that came in my brain for what's underneath San Francisco is, of course, a monster who, if you don't satisfy it, there are earthquakes. And it was just like, as soon as that kind of came through, then I just kind of follow those thoughts, and those thoughts become
the books.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it is like that one like spark of inspiration. And you just have to keep following it down the line to get the final product.
Right. Yeah.
And you never know what it's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah. And you just kind of have to keep playing with it. And you know, when I made Pashmina, I didn't know anybody. Right? I didn't know anybody in publishing. I didn't know any authors. But now I'm fortunate enough to call a lot of authors friends and a lot of writers friends. So sometimes you have those opportunities where you can just talk about that, and then you can kind of brainstorm together, and that's lovely too.
Yeah, that's amazing. That like the community comes with it, and this is the final question. But like I said, your stories are very, very nostalgic for me, and it made me feel very seen and very represented. And I'm sure there are so many other readers out there or aspiring authors out there who also felt similarly. So, is there any message or advice that you would give to the writers, but also to the readers who felt seen reading?
So there's definitely, I think, you know, kind of two separate messages, right? If you're an aspiring writer, an aspiring artist, cartoonist, it is advice that often people give, but I think the reason that it's repeated is because it's true, is that you just have to keep writing. You have to get up and you have to keep, but I don't like saying there's an arbitrary amount, right? You're not going to feel like writing every day. Don't force yourself, right? If you have to take care of yourself, you have to take care of your life. However, the more you show up for it, the further along you're going to get. And the more hours you're putting in over somebody else who isn't, right? And you have to have thick skin. You're going to get rejected a lot. You have to have the tenacity, the ambition, and you have to kind of want it bad enough that anybody else who maybe wants it a little bit, but not enough to keep going when they get rejected over and over again, you have to be able to pick yourself up, keep going, keep submitting, right? So that's the biggest piece of advice, is to not let anybody tell you and any rejection stop you from continuing to develop and continuing to pursue the dream that you have. And then for readers, I would say that when reading Pashmina or Jukebox or Super Boba Cafe, it's just that I hope that it gives you something, right? That it gives you either a chance to feel like you're represented, but not only, you know, I think Pashmina for me was like really important in telling that story of identity. And then I kind of veered into identity is important, but it's just a part of the whole, right? And to kind of do the identity work for ourselves through the things that we read, but also we have to, at least I hope I can do this with my work, is see ourselves as so much more than one single identity. So
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Home Sweet Home is coming out this year, right?
Yes.
I'm very excited. I haven't read Super Boba Cafe yet. I'm very, very excited for it.
I think that the follow-up is even more fun than the first book. And I had a lot of fun in the first book. So Super Boba Cafe is where my heart is. It's got cats, it's got monsters, it's got San Francisco, it's got all the elements I love.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very excited for it. Thank you so much for the interview. It was lovely talking to you.
You too. And I can't wait to get your book.
Hopefully soon.
Yes. Wonderful.